Do you have a pile of scrap fabric that is constantly growing over your shoulder? Do you look in your scrap bin hoping to find fabric big enough for a sleeve only to find shreds? Do you feel guilty buying new fabric before looking at your stash first? Ah!
Well, I'm here to help. Hello there everyone and welcome back to my channel. I think especially right now, a lot of us are not out shopping for fabric, and that's totally okay, but we're still making projects, which is good too. For any reasons, whether it be money, quarantine, social distancing, COVID, any reason, we're not really shopping up and down those aisles at Joann's for fabric, which stinks because I love doing that. I love going up and down the aisles and just like feeling the fabric, which is probably not what we should be doing right now. I have been turning to my stash for almost every project I've done since quarantine, which has helped my wallet a lot and just my fabric stash in general. However, I'm finding a lot of my fabric stash is about 2 yards or less of fabric, which stinks because I make a lot of cosplays that require large amounts of fabric, right? Therefore, I throw my 2 yards of fabric or less into a scrap bin where it stays forever and ever and ever. And now, since I'm a zero waste sewing studio, that bin is getting ever bigger and growing even taller and staring at me from afar, like it did earlier in the video. But not anymore! I have decided to make a series for this channel focusing on random scrap fabric projects that we can do in between cosplays or during cosplay making or whenever we want, with mostly 2 yards or less of fabric. Now, we can make anything in like 2 yards or less fabric, but when you get down to like the fabric shreds, what do you do with those? Within this video, I have 3 projects that will utilize at least 2 yards of fabric or less. So let's get into it. The first project that I have to show you guys, I'm kind of addicted to right now, to be honest. Yes, this little scrap project is so addictive, I can just like get into it right now just by sitting here talking to you guys.
Come on, Amanda, let's go!
Oh, I have a video to keep filming? Oh, yeah, okay. Maybe I should move this aside. Thanks, editing, Amanda.
No problem.
So this is fabric twine. It is now my keep my hands busy activity to do while I binge my latest show on whatever streaming network I'm on. Currently, it's the X-Files. So I know you guys are asking right now, well, Amanda, why are you making this if it's just gonna sit right here? Well, there's many uses for fabric twine, to be honest. I intend to make big old fabric rag rugs. Now, my first start on it's been kind of iffy. This has been my first project with the rag rug making. I'm finding out that there's holes in it kind of everywhere. One of the benefactors about doing this fabric twine is that you have a lot of the same fabric. When you do it in cosplay, we work with a lot of different fabrics. So one thing I will say about this, if you intend to make rugs and stuff like this out of, is to use similar fabrics when you are twisting them together. You don't have to. I've been using like netting and muslin and canvas and silk, that's not that, and linen to make these rugs and or make the twine, and it's been fine. Just one thing to be aware of. But honestly, if you go on Pinterest and search projects to do with fabric twine, there is a ton. And hopefully I can make more and start on my rug, but I'm also gonna be wrapping like plant pots with them, which I think is a super cool cottagecore look right now. So yeah, I'm like addicted to this and I do it all the time in front of the TV now. So let's get in to show you guys how to make this. It's super easy, have some patience. It's kind of like a knitting method, but I'm sure you'll be addicted as well. Okay, so let's make some fabric twine. This is super simple. All you're gonna need is about an inch width of your fabric scraps. Right here, I'm working with some muslin. I'll go over at the end the different types of fabric scraps that you can use to make this stuff. So the first thing you wanna do is just tie a knot at the top. Like this. Any way you can tie a knot is a way you can tie a knot. All right. We now have the very top or end of our fabric twine. So You want to work the fabric twine into two pieces, one being away from you, one being close to you. So always keep this direction, you looking at this direction. The one that's furthest away from you, you will always be working with first, and then that is what's going to be crossed over and ultimately be twisting it. So the first thing you want to do is to take the twine that is away from you and twist it away from you. I do it about 3 times like this, while holding on with your right hand or your other dominant hand on this end. So 1, 2, 3. And then you pull it over across the next twine, and you want to pinch it with your thumb and index finger and let that down. So now you have your next fabric ready to twist. 1, 2, 3, and then pull it over. And now you're ready for your next time. Now, you're gonna be holding this in your hand, and you're gonna be inching your right hand or your other dominant hand closer as you move along, and this is going to be going underneath your hand. So it is kind of like a knitting process. You're not gonna gather all of this into the palm. You're gonna inch your hands along down line of the fabric. So 1, 2, 3, pull it over, pinch, 1, 2, 3, pull it over, pinch. Now moving along, and remarkably, it is not unwinding, which just still blows my mind. So here we go, let's keep going. 1, 2, 3, moving down. And once you get going, honestly, this goes quick. And the best part is that it's not untwisting. And it's very strong, and it's staying exactly where it is, but still, that boggles my mind. So let's keep going down to the end of this. Make sure you're twisting it pretty tight, and you're pushing the twists together up here very tight too, because that keeps it from unwinding. Okay, so now you're gonna get to where there's about 2 inches left, and you're actually gonna want to have one longer than the other. I did not start with that when you're doing this, for reasons because you don't want the joints to be in the same spot along your twine. So, see, still not unwinding. I'm going to take my next fabric, which is just some black t-shirt fabric that I have, roll it up here, and I'm going to stick it into the furthest one away from you, kind of right through here, like so. And this does take a little bit of finagling to get used to. I'm still not the best at it, but ideally you're twisting one into the other with no knots, no anything, and just keep going. But you're gonna wanna definitely hold and pinch the joint with your other hand so your other fabric does not pop out. See, it's starting to come out a little bit right there, but that's okay. Just hold this and push it over. The more you twist, the more this will add into the fabric twine itself. If it does, stick it back in there and twist it again. You want to make sure that's nice and tight. Now, as we're continuing on through this here, I will tell you, I've been experimenting with different types of fabrics. So far, I've found that obviously the ones that don't have a lot of stretch to them and the ones that don't ravel a whole lot are the best. However, they do work. So I intend to use pretty much all of my scrap fabric. I might double up some layers, like maybe I have like a bunch of tulle and eyelet and netting fabric that I think I'll double with some other ones to make it thicker, and then act that as my fabric twine one side. But you're gonna kind of want to work with the same thickness on both sides if you do that. But seriously, I love this and I can't wait to make things out of it. So let's go make something out of this, shall we? Okay, so my next project is super simple. Scrunchies! Ooh. I hear they're cool now. Again. I kind of felt like it was 1996 again and I was watching the Summer Olympics and wearing scrunchies was like the cool thing to do. But I made scrunchies. Or this one scrunchie using leftover Yennefer fabric. So it's a silk taffeta scrunchie. So let's learn how to do this.
You will need elastic, a rotary cutter or scissors, and your fabric. I'm using my leftover Yennefer silk taffeta. Next, cut your elastic to be about 6 inches long. Next, cut a strip of fabric that is 3.5 inches in width and 22 inches in length. Next, take your fabric over to your sewing machine, fold your fabric lengthwise, quote, hot dog style, and stitch the raw edges together. Now turn your fabric inside out and press. Next, grab the 6 inches of elastic that you have cut, pin them to one edge of the strip, and have a pin on the other edge, and feed your elastic through the strip while holding one end of your elastic with your hand, making sure it doesn't come through, or you can pin it to the fabric, however way you'd like to do it. But the fact of the matter is, feed that elastic through that fabric tube. Now that your elastic is fed through, grab both of the ends, move over to your sewing machine, and stitch those ends together to form a circle for your scrunchie. Next, grab some hand sewing tools and whip stitch the fabric tube together, just like this. Or if you don't want to hand sew, I guess you can fabric glue it together. I don't like that, but you know, I'll let it slide. This project only took me about 5 minutes, so I think I'm going to grab the fabric from my other projects and make matching scrunchies. Cute!
Okay, so the last project that I did it kind of on a whim. I've been doing a lot of undergarments lately, and I figured I might need some bustle pads for, can't really see this, for Yennefer. I'm sorry, not Yennefer, for Nadja. I'm not sure if I want to use them, but just in case I want to have some. But bustle pads and bum rolls and anything you can stuff is a great thing to use for, scrap fabric for. So here are the ones I made. There are 3 different ones, 2 of them that are connected on the same cord and 1 just big on the back. So let me show you how to make your own bustle pads, which I will have patterns for available for download for a little small price within my store very soon. So check those out if you're interested. They're very simple bustle pads, honestly. Anybody could do these, but there is a certain way on how to do them. So let me show you.
Okay, I just want to jump in here first and say, okay, these bustle pads are not historically accurate, so they are literally just what I made up. However, if you would like to make some, drape some fabric on a mannequin or on yourself and draw the area that you'd like the bustle pad to be. Move that to a paper pattern like I did here. Now, I will say I enlarged it quite a bit because you will be stuffing it, so the pattern needs to be bigger than what you think. Don't forget to add your seam allowance when you are cutting out your pattern. And now it's time to stitch the bustle pads together and clip those curves and press it very nicely so it forms a pseudo fabric pita pocket, weirdly. I did forget to mention this, that you will need some ribbon or trim that is your waist size or hip size that you will be adding these to. Please ignore those red tabs. That actually didn't end up working for what I was doing. So now, here comes the fun part. Grab all of your fabric swatches, no matter what it is, and a rotary cutter or scissors, depending on what you have, and we're gonna start slicing. Now, the cool thing about this is that we're going to be using any kind of material you'd like, and we're going to be cutting it down in a very small amount. So, a lot of material, once it's cut down in strips like these, actually compresses into a very small amount of material, so you can really stuff these with a lot of material. And it's actually quite cathartic to just take your rotary cutter on a self-healing mat and just go to town. Just please, please, please watch your fingers. Do not slice your fingers off. I almost did that a couple times. So once you have your fabric cabbage, stuff those fabric pita pockets pretty full because, like I say later in the video, the fabric will sink. So you'll want to stuff these Pretty good. Next, grab your hand sewing tools and whip stitch the openings closed. Now, once you have chosen your trim or mode of transportation, your bustle pads will be on your hips. Go ahead and just top stitch the trim to the bustle pads very easily, and you have your bustle pads. Here I'm just showing you a very easy whip stitch that you can do, because actually I ended up opening these back up and putting more fabric cabbage inside because I needed them bigger, I needed them fluffier. I realize these aren't too historically accurate, but who gives a flying... These looked so cute, and I think they will be perfect for my Nadja outfit. I love wearing them and having that little extra bump in the back. I can't wait to just feel out my true vampire powers. Ha 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 ha!
Okay, a couple thoughts that I had after I made these bustle pads. The stuffing tends to sink. Especially even if you cut it up into small cabbage bits, it does tend to fall down. So I will say, I'm probably going to do this, is run some quilting stitches kind of over the top, and like a quilting, a long run running stitches over top of them to kind of seal the stuffing where it is. And I think that'll help a lot of the sagging issues. I know when I researched that was kind of on every bustle pad, but I also just got lazy last night when I did these, so I just got like this. But I do love these. I think they look so cool, and I am super digging the vampire vibe that I have with them, and I am so ready to cosplay Nadja now. I can't wait. Last little bonus project, which is not really using my scrap fabric, however, it's using my scrap t-shirts, because I think with everybody in quarantine right now, we are rethinking our closet. And I've been doing this actually for a while. I've been taking old t-shirts, the graphics that I have on them, cutting them out of the t-shirt, keeping the t-shirt material, but using the graphics on reusable grocery totes. And I bought a big lot of these on Amazon years ago. So I've had a bunch of these just laying around. And so with these, I've taken some old t-shirts and put them on bags, which I think if you really like your fabric, that's another thing you can do with reusable tote bags. And yeah, I did buy these. However, there's a bazillion tote patterns out there on Pinterest, on Amazon, or not Amazon, on Google, if you want to figure out how to make your own reusable grocery bag, which I find extremely handy to always keep in my purse when I'm going out for the grocery. And also, it's a cat butt. Like, how cute is that? Alright guys, that's it for this week's video. Thank you again for sticking around and watching what to do with your scrap fabric when it takes over. I hope to have some more videos within this series about other projects that I figure out, as well as keeping you all up to date on how much rag, rug, and fabric twine that I am making. Just like I say every week, if you like cosplay and you like sewing, please subscribe to my channel and give this video a like, and I will see you all next week. Bye! And don't forget to pre-order my book.